Oh, good morning. Man, I'm tired today. Just dropped off at daycare. Whew. You know, one of those days, had a meeting after work. Wife had to stay late at work. Big old long day. So I only got to see my kid for like an hour and a half. I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know. Yeah, it felt like I only got to see my kid for like an hour and a half yesterday. And man, that's a crummy feeling. That is just a bad feeling, man. You want to be with your kid all the time. My kid's nine months old. You want to be with your kid all the time, but you just can't, you know. Sometimes things happen and you feel like you're sacrificing just the precious moments you have with your child for somebody else that doesn't matter nearly as much. But man, I've been teaching and already, man, been hearing rumblings and seeing it firsthand. A bunch of kids are displaced from the Palisades. Now, I don't want to say lucky for them because, you know, tragedy is tragedy no matter who it happens to, you know. But a lot of these families have like second houses and stuff. So they're moving out to our area and they're entering the school. And it's just interesting the difference and the amount of empathy that we have for displaced kids who are, you know, in a higher socioeconomic level, so to speak, compared to other kids whose families are struggling and they don't have 2, 3, 4 houses. They might have a 1-bedroom apartment for the 6 of them, you know. But it's just interesting. Everyone's like, oh man, you know, this is great that we're taking them in, let's love them, yada yada yada. But I don't quite see that same energy for other types of people groups, you know. And I'm not saying that these kids should, you know, be vilified or anything like that, but I'm just saying let's keep it let's keep it consistent across the board, you know. But it's wild, even in my area that's pretty remote from, you know, all the LA fires and stuff, man. There's kids coming out and I'm talking to them and they're just, you can tell they're struggling. I mean, especially for kids who, like, you know, that area is a very wealthy area. There's obviously people who are less fortunate as well, but that's a very wealthy area. And you have a lot of kids who hadn't really ever had to think about what it means to lose their house, especially at the age that they're at. You know, I was in middle school and it's just fascinating to think about what's going on with people and how that's probably such a shock for these kids who, you know, obviously had a lot of financial and housing security. And, you know, now they got to go to a new school. They're stressed out. They probably got a house full of, you know, clothing and whatnot that hasn't been sorted or packed, and they got to go to school and learn. It's crazy. It's tough. But could you imagine though if we if we treated these kids like immigrants? We're like, what are you doing at my school, man? What are you doing here? Go back. I don't care what's going on in your house. I don't care what happened to you. You're all a bunch of criminals, you know? But it's wild. I gotta be honest though, I'm struggling today. Quick check-in. I'm just struggling today a little bit. And for no reason other than I don't have a lot in the tank right now. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough enough when you just have a normal day. Like a normal day right now feels like a bit of a marathon. It feels like I've lived a full day before I even leave for work. But then to just like tack on more stuff throughout the day it's not easy. But I want to figure out, like, how do I become one of those people who has the wake up, hustle, pray, repeat grind set. I don't know. I don't even know if those people actually exist. Well, I'm sure they do. David Goggins exists. But I want to become one of those people who just gets up and is like, let me get after it. Like I saw a dude the other day online. He was like, wearing nothing but some short shorts, and he was absolutely jacked. Older dude, probably middle-aged. And he's like, gotta get your work in when you can. So he's in his kitchen with a inclined bench, and he's got these massive dumbbells, and he's just doing it early in the morning. And I'm like, how is this guy doing this? And why don't I have the skills and the spinal fortitude to make this happen in my life? Because I'm barely mustering up enough energy and courage to make the banana pancakes to send off to daycare. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I'm just not cut from the right cloth, or maybe I'm just living in the real reality that you don't see online. Because what we see online is obviously not an actual representation of what people are dealing with and going through on a daily basis. But it's interesting. I gotta admit, it feels weird in the Trump era part 2. And I don't know how to put my finger on it. I have not really been keeping up too much. I did watch The Daily Show. I did watch Jon Stewart talk about it because that's funny. But I'm trying not to keep up too much with it. And maybe that's just blissful ignorance. But I feel like it doesn't make too much of a difference, to be honest, who's doing what or who's saying what. Or, it's all just kind of a crapshoot. But I'm just trying to keep my head down. Maybe buy a house one of these days, God willing. And just trying to make my home reflect the country that I wish we had, But it's crazy. It's crazy. Absolutely wild. Man, speaking of immigrants, I used to live in an apartment. I was in apartment 574. It was this 600 square foot little apartment, and there was families of 5 who lived in the apartment across from me. It was one of those things where your front doors are super close to each other. I remember there's a family of 6 living in that 1-bedroom apartment, and they were not from the United States. They were great people, and they had some kids and whatnot, and they're just trying to make it. And man, it's a tough life, and it's kind of a bummer that we're vilifying these people. But I think that's the way that you get the heat off of you if you're in the leadership. You got to find someone to blame, and that's an easy class. I mean, they're pretty powerless in a lot of ways. A lot of people are like, oh, they're getting free cell phones and this and that. And that. Come on, dude. Don't be foolish. But yeah, I remember I lived across the street from them, and they're not across the street, across the little hallway from them in our tiny apartment, rinky-dink apartment complex. And that's a huge majority of the people that are over here, and they're just trying to make it. Driving Uber, doing that. And it's like, are we gonna really kick these people out? But if you're gonna go for it, we'll see what happens. I mean, people are gonna be demanding more wages. People are gonna be, if there's open jobs that people might want to do if the price is right, what's that going to look like for our economy? I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, those are just a few of my thoughts for today. I mean, not too much going on, to be honest, but I don't know. What do you think? How are you doing? Just, call into the voicemail hotline. Tell me how you're doing if you got this far. The phone number is 619-800-5622. I want to know how people are doing right now, because I'll be honest, I wanted to play hooky today and call in sick, but just not a good idea. Not a good idea at this juncture. Can't happen. But all right, y'all, you guys have a great day. Keep on, trying. Keep on trying. And try to stay human. Try to keep a sense of humor. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. My sense of self-worth comes from how many views and comments and thumbs ups I see on my YouTube app. So please keep those coming. All right, you guys have a great day. Peace.